Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is PixelRiffs, our writer is ZloyXP, and right away we owe you folks an apology and a clarification. That's right, we did a bad, so allow us to fix it. Last week we said that the headhunt started by Zombie Cleo did not allow PvP. We assumed this much because for one, we misheard her in the video itself, and two, with PvP on, we figured nothing would stop two players from conspiring together, killing each other for infinity points, and then splitting the reward. What we didn't realise is that Cleo's starting this game not so much to provide people with a fair fight, but to acquire as many heads for herself as possible. Plus there's other precautions against this kind of cheating, with the same heads scoring less the more players provide them.
The first turn-in of unique hermit head goes at the top of their pillar to claim the point bounty. Second and third, the heads get extra bounty points. 10, 6 and 3, it says it on here. And 1 down there. Extra 1 point heads in barrel. Okay, so that sort of explains how I want it to go.
On top of that, Cleo issued a bonus points board where she will occasionally display a random hermit whose head is worth extra on that particular day. If you want a full rundown of the rules, you can watch her own video. We're not risking misinterpreting any more of it. There's one more new minigame in town, though really it's an old minigame but with a different spin. Tag is making a comeback. Now titled Tag 2 Electric Boogaloo and much more command block heavy, the game is not to pass the name tag onto someone, but to keep it in your inventory for as long as possible. The tab scoreboard will be keeping track and assigning points. The name tag item responsible for the system cannot be replicated and will be recreated if destroyed. The other players in the meantime have every right to steal, buy, or beg it out of the current owner's inventory. Naturally, this allows for PvP interference, and therefore you have to sign up in the shopping district before participating. Together, the two minigames are sure to turn the server into a bloodbath, and we're definitely here for it. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week.
Oh, why are you putting games in the money-making district? I am buying heads. Okay? It's commercial. Also, want to murder people.
Starting with Cubfan135, whose shop has also issued a correction, although we're not sure how. The glitched invisible end crystals he had around 00 are no longer invisible, though as glitched as ever, and no one has any idea why. They just fixed themselves one day.
They just straight up were not here at the end of last episode, and I log on today, and voila, there they are.
The now observable shape they make in the sky no doubt inspired Cub to realise that yes, his pyramid could be bigger, and he proves this theory by, well, building a bigger pyramid for himself. So big, he's still not sure what to put in it.
Very unique lighting effect going on here inside this pyramid right now.
What he is sure of though is that he wants one in the Nether also, which is where Impulse SV comes in with his bedrock breaking service.
Then... oh, I think I made a mess.
As far as Impulse is concerned, Cub could have just paid with quartz, because Impulse is going to need a mammoth amount of it for a pyramid of his own. The offshore platform he's been marking out for the last 2 weeks is going to be a Blade Runner-esque construction with a crispy outer shell made of Impulse's favourite white rock, and even setting up a bunch of stonemasons and learning to use a stone cutter isn't going to make much of a dent. He is going to make a dent in some bedrock, although it might take a while. Between Impulse and Azuma, they managed to take Razeworks' 100% guaranteed bedrock breaking method down to a solid 20%.
That was my fault. You got me nervous with the whole armor thing.
It's my fault is what you're saying.
No, it's my fault. Look up macro. I died this time. No way.
Luckily, he has other plans for making money if the bedrock business goes stale. Owning a sizable Guardian farm is a good excuse to construct a sizable Guardian and start selling its literal insides to anyone wandering into the shopping district. After all this, quartz is still on his mind, and selling raw fish to villagers isn't providing enough emeralds, so he takes another Razeworks design out into the ocean and puts together a neat perpetual raid farm. It's even worth losing half his stuff to a Vex attack in the process.
It is just absolutely crazy how many have spawned up there. This is so awesome.
Azuma has pinched some of that. He needs a pillager to scare all the villagers into Golemancy. The one guy stolen from a remote outpost is then robbed of his crossbow to pacify him and is moved into the centre of a Nembon Iron Golem farm, the drop shoot of which X then decorates into an unnaturally tubular tree. Ironically, this is when Azuma spots Mumbo's care package from before, which contains iron blocks aplenty.
Oh my days, if I'd have known he was dropping off this, I might have not bothered with the iron farm straight away, because that is going to last me a bit of time.
The other server mates present will be just as handy for Azuma's purposes. He spots that his base is smack dab in the middle between Corrales and Etho, meaning that as long as the farming enterprises are positioned strategically, X can essentially use them as chunk loaders for shared farms. At least they can count on a cut of the profits, plus the quartz concrete towers poking out of the tropical lush look a bit nifty. They better be, having now cost Azuma his first death of the season. Fortunately, right before perishing in the nether, he was bumped out of the game of life anyway, and even got some money out of it.
I got a bit of confession. I'm kind of broke.
I'll buy you out of the game right now, okay? Like, if you leave now, it makes my chances of winning better.
That's fine. I can't afford to stay in, so
okay.
Buy me out.
All right, I tell you what. 25 diamonds to leave the saloon right now, and also sleep on your way out, please.
25.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you can take your wager back.
Figuring he'd be better off with the odds in his favour, and with only Doc Holliday able to up the ante, Rendog lets Azuma and Hypno off the hook, buying them out of the game with his own diamonds and letting them take their chips back, which is not so much a gamble as it is a self-fleecing.
There's only room for one cowboy in this saloon, Holiday. I only see one here, son.
When Ren the Kid isn't making questionable poker decisions, all his hustle is going into launching the log business. The best way to kickstart a business seems to be running an actual Kickstarter, by which we mean selling the idea of logs to people and taking pre-orders for the product before it ever arrives. When it does arrive though, it's on a beautiful steampunk blimp, lowering 6 types of logs from below it as though they've just been airlifted from the Mesa biome where many of them were harvested. But the truth behind Bigger Logs Inc. is that they've outsourced their manufacturing process to Iskal, who built a tree farm good enough that Rendog agrees to split all the wood he farms there with Iskal, and even give Iskal free access to Bigger Logs stock for the remainder of the season. But with business taken care of, he has to take care of business. Ren the Kid has a date with Destiny on the streets of Dead Dog Gulch, as he and Doc prepare for a gunfight with crossbows and hopefully decide once and for all whether or not it's high noon. In the meantime, Hypno, now 25 diamonds richer, uses his bet money to start a diamond shop. It does not sell diamonds. Instead, this is a dollar store equivalent where any product on the shelves cost 1 diamond or less, courtesy of maxed out villager traders and wheat mass production.
Oh, they even got the TM? Oh, this got to be a nerd. Who is this? Only nerds know how to do the alt escape character sequence stuff.
So that's one shop Jevin could probably buy out entirely, along with the land it's built on. The Elytra business sure took off since last time we were here.
Oh my god, that is insane, guys. Wow, that's crazy.
With the cash from it, Jevin can grab some of the Prismarine now on sale and at last have himself a working conduit for that underwater base he wanted. Whatever effects the eye in the corner provides will be backed up by a whole beacon of power-ups, since on his way there Jev also single-handedly takes out a non-cheesed Wither boss. Now equipped and over-equipped for an underwater build mission, he is finally ready to stop dead in his tracks, go to the end, and make an Enderman XP farm. Really, at this point, someone had to. Mumbo apparently didn't get the memo about the Elytra store, although maybe that's because it took a bouncy castle to get his attention last time. Mumbo immediately falls for the slime block fortification, falling so much that he dies in the process, and then responds to Iskal's partnership invitation with yes, 1,000 blocks, yes. No, really, he writes the word yes in block capitals, iron block capitals, large enough to show up on a map. As of last episode, Iskal was still cleaning up the iron. This prompts the two of them to embark on an end raiding expedition in which Mumbo may or may not get good, depending on whether or not you think good people throw shulker shells into the void.
Are you saying what I'm thinking you are?
I'm definitely saying what you think I'm saying. I'm saying that we should get an elite.
Well,
dude, I meant to throw the shulker boxes at you in anger. I didn't mean to throw them off the edge.
The final piece of the puzzle is acquiring a beacon, which he asks Iskal to kill the Wither for, and is pleasantly surprised when the Swede delivers. So maybe the good was got for him, but either way, he and Grian are both pretty satisfied with the outcome of each other's hermit challenges, because Grian hands over a bunch of doors for no reason, okay, YouTube commenters? Completely unrelated doors here. Anyway, you know it's finally a Mumbo Jumbo Hermitcraft season because he goes back to his jungle area and starts building a shape.
And now it's starting to feel pretty enormous. Look at this! If I just fly up into the sky quickly and then look down, look at that.
Despite Iskal delivering a nether star to Mumbo, his early experiments with the Wither are Actually kind of typical for the hermits this season. He tries to spawn it under the bedrock portal in the end, releases it by accident, and has to bail because the pool of water makes evasive maneuvers almost impossible. Roping in Stress Monster to help and rewarding her with the Nether Star, he sets up a rematch with the Eldritch Horror in a dug-out tunnel and has a much better time with it. In the meantime, between Rendog's efforts and his own, he's farmed enough wood that the stump of his giant tree base has really taken shape, and he can finally put some time into other projects, like the server's second gold farm, which he builds in the hopes of stocking up before the gold rush of piglin bartering arrives in the Nether update. Wait a minute, I hear you ask, the second gold farm? Well yes, technically Vintage Beef was there first, because he needs a bunch of gold now his guests are going to be eating off it. Actually, the farm's primary purpose is to farm ghasts, or more importantly, ghast heads. And for once, we won't spoil the secret of why exactly, because the answer is so glorious it has to be seen in the context of an entire episode's worth of effort.
I am so proud of this. I don't know how you guys are going to react, but I hope you appreciate it as much as I do. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Are you ready to see it?
The next episode's worth of effort is basically an NHO reunion tour, minus BOO, as Beef teams up with Doc M and Etho to raid a dimension they all acknowledge has been heavily looted by Ijevin already. The real treasure is the friends they made along the way, especially when one of those friends is super jumpy because he's still on 0 deaths.
No! What are you doing?
What is he doing?
Guess who brought a fishing rod?
Oh.
I'm getting braver.
Oh gosh.
Oh, Beef, what are you
No,
doing?
okay,
Oh my God,
I'm gonna take the bow out of that hand, and we'll just go with the sword in this hand.
Oh my gosh.
Splitting one elytra between 3 of them turns out to be easier than it sounds, especially when they've found enough diamonds that they can maybe afford to just buy one instead. When Etho isn't bridging his way around the cold depths of space with his friends, he's warming to the idea of decorating his ice farm. It's a little more welcoming now that there are some friendly faces nearby who'll trade you some emeralds for the ingredients of torches. And the farm is productive enough that after a quick building session at the monstrosity, he sets up a plot in the shopping district which sells ice and snow at early season prices. The most important rule of the shop is, of course, that you take off your shoes.
Take off your shoes. Canadian custom? Yeah, oh, my shoes. Right, sorry. There, my shoes are off. All right. So, you're...
Now, the reason Tango is in the commercial district dragging mud into other people's shops is because he's starting his own one, a gunpowder and fireworks store, in case you've already visited Ijevin's establishment. A bit puzzled on how to one-up his rocket store from last season, which itself was a giant rocket, Tango comes to the brilliant solution of building several giant rockets. Well, we can't argue with that. The box of firecrackers makes a much better use of the rectangular plot he bought for the purpose. His personal area gets a blast of vibrant builds as well. The first houses of Toontown are taking shape, though only from one side at a time. For a good primer of a build style he is still not too sure about, Tango puts together a bendy front for 2 Toon Towers that you can't forget the name of because it's written on them.
Not bad. Not bad, but I do want to...
Stress Monster is also having a blast, and not just because she's helping Iskall take down a wither, because what good is a beacon without blocks underneath it? To give this expensive light source a little more purpose, Stress undertakes the building of a personal iron farm, the design of which you may recognise, and before long is producing iron and the occasional cat at a very effective rate.
And looky what I found. There is... there's a spider spawner, but we're just gonna leave that there.
It's a moment of personal growth she marks by personally growing a giant lotus flower in the jungle foliage above, which eventually becomes a bubble column fountain launching iron and poppies into the air only for them to land again in a nearby storage system. After distributing another flower, this time to Etho, making the Ice Queen transition official with a ceremonial allium, Stress returns to the jungle, finally activates her Haste 2 beacon, and digs a giant hole for an as yet unknown purpose. To fill that back in, she can hire up Corrales and his newly opened construction company, though their pricing is not exact yet due to some demolition shenanigans.
Yeah, wait, don't break it!
More on that later. Corrales is so constructy, his villager trading hall is actually a villager trading hole in the ground, ready to start filling in with cement anytime the testificates raise their prices. Luckily for them, Corrales has found a much more humane way of earning discounts, even if that involves depriving a zombie of a lifetime partner.
No, Bob, don't run away. What, Cindy? Don't you fancy Bob? What's wrong with Bob? He's beautiful.
The villager holding cells he's designed come with a background zombie walking around admiring the merchandise and ready to nip locals in the butt when given the opportunity. Cured minutes later, the villagers will naturally offer a discount on the many building blocks in the Mason catalogue. Now about that demolition service. Some might say it's karma for Doc M sabotaging BDubs' wiring, rigging his swimming pool with pufferfish, then dragging another creeper onto BDubs' land when they have one of their neighbourly chats. But the TNTing of Goat Mountain and the not-so-subtle cover-up is a step into dangerous territory. I wonder how many points that will get you in Cleo's head game.
Yeah, sure. He's not gonna notice that he's majestic goat head.
I'm blaming you. This was totally your idea.
It's dramatic enough that BDubs takes several steps away from Doc M's territory, moving out to a plains biome over the hills and checking his escape routes. He even invests in an elytra and a shulker box in case he needs to make a hasty exit. Doc's reaction is delayed by the high-stakes poker game he's playing with Rendog and some work on his skybase, in which he seems to be building a villager trading hall from the top down, but eventually he steps out of his trading area to discover the new face of Goat Mountain, and his reaction is proportional.
Oh my gosh, they chopped off the head of the goat. Are you serious now? Oh my god. To another episode. Oh, he locks on again. Oh, he got brave again.
Ironically, the next thing he signs up to do is decapitate his fellow servermates, but we don't get to see the full wrath of the Goat Father quite yet. Only a quick skit at the very end hints at the retribution that will follow. Expect him to send Corrales 2 raw cod and a leather chestplate next week. His new redstones to heck approach to villager trading is nothing to do with any of this, of course, but it is kinda cool to see him tech his way to maximum trade ratio, courtesy of a design by Methods. He's done that with help from XB Crafted, whose latest venture in the commercial district is a redstone shop named The Red Zone, located conveniently across from the Bone Zone, which sells all manner of redstone components from inside a giant, diagonally positioned repeater. XB is no stranger to technical projects himself, setting up a creeper farm in the sky above Casa and finding it quite productive once it's automated by campfires and there are fewer people online to take up the mob cap. But since it's redstone free, he's got plenty of components to sell to people who've, decided they aren't mining this season. A similar fate awaits False Symmetry, though she'll have an even harder time convincing people to stay away from large bodies of water on this, a server set around an ocean. False is making a squid farm, though this time she opts for a nether portal powered design, one that throws them right into the nether where they sprout in all directions, nudged by several cats in boats. We'll sadly have to wait for someone to encounter it while it's working to see the visual of a nether portal pooping out sea life. The ink for now, False is keeping for herself, though she has a different rarity to introduce to the market, shulker boxes. You might think they're not that rare, but they sure are now. Many end cities died to bring you this storage space.
So what I've done inside is added 7 diamonds each, or 32 diamonds for 5 boxes. Just one chest right now. I did add the second chest down there, as you can sort of see the top of it, just in case I need that.
And quite a number more will fall, because Good Times with Scar wanted to build a chest monster emporium as well. Although first he will need quite the rocket supply to reach spaces Ms. Symmetry hasn't.
We'll be back here next week to build the chest monster shop that will sell storage devices, specifically shulker boxes, which I think are going to fly off the shelves and really help us on Operation Aqua Thunder.
Scar decides to first make a creeper farm and to put it in the ground as to not disrupt the airspace, but no beacon mining is tedious for people who aren't TFC, and soon enough Scar is fighting a wither to get that delicious haste too, and failing miserably. It gets so bad that Scar has no choice but to call for help, but he doesn't call loud enough and only Grian hears him.
I'm in danger. We all are in danger.
Do not fear. My name is the G-Man. You know, G-Man's got TNT. G-Man goes in. TNT. Oh no, Scar!
Several good sets of equipment died that day trying to bring Scar his nether star, but at last the brain cell duo conquers the undead beast. Good thing Tango showed up, that added a lot. Now all hasted up, the two builders do a bit of redstone and complete the creeper processing hole together, with a bonus point of it being a string farm since they messed up the spawning platforms a little. Really, Grian's quest to learn redstone is going fairly okay, seeing as how he can now follow a tutorial to a zero-tick sugarcane farm and throw together a bell-powered alarm system for the mailbox all on his own. In between the improvisatory mechanization and someone else's inventions lies Grian's automated wool farm, which produces about as much wool as their gunpowder one. All these moving parts are then covered right up by a slab of terraforming, but at least they still might make it to Grian's mad scientist basement, if he chooses to have one, that is. Not much is known about the mega build he has planned, or how much of it he even has planned by this point. And finally there's Joe Hills, who continues peacefully remodeling his D&D winery above the vineyard, and has it looking very respectable as it gradually comes into view of Doc M's devastated mountain. But Joe will bring down his vicious mockery on anyone who misses the opportunity for wordplay, and realizing Doc M didn't name his pop-up bookshop the Mending Vending Machine incenses Joe enough that his compliments for Zombie Cleo are pleasantly aggressive.
Look at this head game. You think you're cool just because you got some cool text? Cleo, no, you're cool because you're intrinsically a beautiful, amazing human being. But anyway, whatever. We know who you are, and you're great anyway. Whatever, it's fine.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is Pixelriffs. Our Chicken Block Skyblock series is getting real close to fighting the boss chicken, and links to the latest episode are in the end screen theatre. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.